Hello, my dear students, good morning. Students, as you are well known to the fact that we have read all chapters in the first textbook Flamingo, including the poems also. Okay, so now it is the turn to start the next and the second textbook. The name of the second textbook is Vistas. So this the textbook contains total 8 chapters. Bete, I think you have also got this information that 3 chapters from this textbook have been excluded from the syllabus, especially for this session, the current session. Okay, these 3 chapters are the chapter number 2nd, okay, the chapter number 3rd, the Tiger King, Journey to the End of the Earth, and the last chapter, Memories of Childhood. So now the chapter number first is to be started, okay, in this lecture. So I think you will take my lecture very sincerely, since this is the chapter number first, the third level, okay, is a new chapter for you, and I think you have not learnt it till now. In case you have read it, it is a secondary matter, but I think you have not got the explanation thoroughly, right, from the first word to the last, okay, in this chapter. So now let's start reading the chapter number first, the third level. So before we start reading this, the chapter number first, beta, I would like to give you some, okay, important information, which we may call, okay, a brief introduction, okay, to this chapter number first, the third level, written by Jack Finney. The chapter, the third level, written by Jack Finney, is entirely based on a 31-year-old young man named Charlie. Okay, named Charlie. 31-year-old young man named Charlie's, okay, philosophical theories, ideas, or we may say his imaginations also. This the 31-year-old young Charlie, okay, starts his journey from past, then enters the present and goes into future. Okay, he starts thinking about such a place. He starts thinking about such a place which has no existence, which does not have its existence at Grand Central Station in New York. But this the young man claims it that he has gone there hundreds of times, and it is very easy to go there. Though there is no one to believe his story. Thereafter, he keeps telling that he has visited the third level. But first of all, I should also explain one more thing before I, okay, proceed myself to the remaining part of this chapter sketch. The word level, the third level, these the entitled words, okay, by Jack Finney refer to here, okay, or we may say this the name as given, okay, to this first chapter, the third level. So this the name, the third level given to this chapter by Jack Finney, represents here the represents here the third floor, at the basement. The third floor means it is also regarded as the third station at Grand Central Station, okay, third part of the Grand Central Station, So this the chapter number first, the third level, represents here, okay, the hypothetical ideas, fantasies, okay, imaginary thoughts, imaginary ideas of a 31-year-old young man named Charlie who strongly strongly claims it that he has gone there hundreds of times and also visited all the things there and also noticed all the things there. But nobody is ready to accept his words, and nobody is ready to accept his words and believe his story. His friend, whose name is Sam, also calls his story a walking dream wish fulfillment. Walking dream wish fulfillment. Okay, so I think we can take it. We can take it an imaginary story, just like a part of the imagination of this person, 31-year-old young man. Okay, he describes here all the things which he notices, which he takes into his sight there while standing on the third level at Grand Central Station. He also emphasizes on one thing that he has visited. He has visited this the place hundreds of times and noticed there and also noticed a number of things there, a number of amazing things there, okay, which do not match to the present day time, okay, objects, present day time things. And he also uh, gives us a complete account of this place. Secondly, we also will find it out that he has a very interesting hobby of collecting the stamps, and being a stamp collector, he also defines here the term fast day cover, and he also tells us okay what kinds of okay uh, things and what kinds of activities are attended by the ticket collectors when they collect the stamps, newly issued stamps, and his grandfather was also a stamp collector. So there are so many things which we will read here in this chapter. So let's start reading the chapter number first, the third level, written by Jack Finney. Before you read, have you ever had any curious experience which others find hard to believe? Before we start reading the story, we are asked whether we have ever got any such kind of amazing experience in our lives which the other persons can't believe very easily, which the other persons take as a part of our imagination, which the other persons find very hard to believe. Have you ever had any curious experience which others find hard to believe? A very simple question. So before we start reading this the chapter, we are asked whether we have got any such kind of amazing experience, curious experience, abnormal experience in our lives. We all the readers. This is the question is given to all the readers. Which cannot satisfy the others. The experience which we have got can't satisfy the others, because the others think that the story is totally fabricated and it is not the part of truthfulness. It is totally a very fake story. Let's start. What happens here beta in this story? Okay, be ready. The president of the New York Central and the New York New Haven and Hartford Railroads will swear beta. The word the president stands for here. The word the presidents here in this line stands for here official executives. Administrators. We may also We may also take this word as for the administrators. The presidents of the New York Central and the New York. The New York Central and the New York, it's the name of a station in America, in New York. New Haven and Hartford Railroads, it's also the name of a station. Will swear, the word swear stands for a take an oath. Will say something with great promise. Swear means take an oath on a stack of timetables. Stack of timetables stands for a pile of timetables. Okay, pile of timetables. So many timetables, heaps of timetables. That there are only two. The presidents of the New York Central and the New York New Haven and Hartford Railroads will swear on a stake of timetables that there are only two. Through this first statement, the narrator wants to tell us one thing very clearly, saying it that if any one of us wants to get it justified from the official executives working at these old railway stations in New York. So the official executives of the New York Central and the New York railway station, New Haven and Hartford railway station will surely, if they are if any one of us asks them regarding the existence of the third level at the railway stations, so they will say to us, they will tell us with an oath, with great promise, showing us on the basis of, on behalf of those piles of timetables which had always represented, which had always contained, the complete schedule of the departure and arrival of the trains only and only at the two railway stations, coming at only the two railway stations, so that there are only two. So these the official executives working at the New York Central and the New York railway station and New Haven and Hartford railway station will tell us with their great promise or taking an oath, showing us a number of timetables that there are only two railway stations, there are only two floors, there are only two railway stations at the main railway station, at their railway station. The real name of the railway station, suppose here the New York Central, the New York, but there are two floors, and on both the floors there are two railway stations and the trains also run from there. So the narrator tells us. I think you have got it cleared. I would like to explain it again for you later. The presidents of the New York Central and the New York, New Haven and Hartford Railroads will swear on a stake of timetables that there are only two. Through this statement, the narrator tells us if any one of us or any other person goes to the official executives of these two railway stations in New York in order to confirm whether there are different three levels at their railway stations or there are only two floors, two levels. So they on behalf of a number of timetables taking an oath with their great promise of taking an oath will say to us that there are only two. They will not accept it that there are three levels at the railway stations. But I say there are three because I have been on the third level of the Grand Central Station. But I say, the word I refers to here the narrator Charlie. But here through this statement the narrator Charlie openly, quite frankly, claims it that there are three levels, three floors, three railway stations at this main railway stations because I have been on the third level of the Grand Central Station. Because he has already gone, he has already visited, okay, the third level of the Grand Central Station. That's why he strongly, with his full confidence and belief, claims it to be there. Claims it that he claims it that there are three, there are different three floors. There are different three railway stations at the main railway station, namely Grand Central Station. Okay, suppose the ground level is considered as the first station. The first floor at the basement is considered as the second, okay, railway station, and there is one more, okay, floor here at the Grand Central Station, and it is considered as the third railway station. So he says that he has already gone, okay, on the third railway. He has, I have been means he has already visited the third level of the Grand Central Station. Yes, I have taken the obvious step. Through this statement, he takes us that he wants to tell us that he has really taken a very obvious step. He has not gone wrong. He has really taken a very practical and feasible step. Okay, practical and feasible, logical step. Admitting it that yes stands for admitting it that he has really taken a very logical, very practical, feasible step. Okay, while going to his friend psychiatrist in order to confirm it whether he also considers it on his part or not that there are three levels at Grand Central Station. Yes, I have taken the obvious step. I talked to a psychiatrist friend of mine, among others. Okay, since Charlie, a 31-year-old young man, okay, had gone to his friend, who was a psychiatrist, and asked him whether he was fully agree regarding the existence of the third level at Grand Central Station or not. I talked to a psychiatrist friend of mine, among others. Okay, standing amongst other friends, the narrator, okay, gave this question to the narrator had a conversation. The narrator had a private conversation with his friend who was a psychiatrist, okay, and confirmed him whether there was the third level at Grand Central Station or not. I told him about the third level at Grand Central Station. The narrator also told his friend regarding the existence of the third level at Grand Central Station in New York, and he said it was a walking dream wish fulfillment. So when Charlie's friend got it from him that he was asking about the existence of the third level at Grand Central Station, and when he told him that he had already gone there, or he had already visited the place at Grand Central Station, so he really got so much surprised, and he told him that it was really okay, it was nothing but only his such a desire, okay, through an involuntary thought process, okay, and he cannot be able to fulfill it. A walking dream wish fulfillment stands for a kind of wish, okay, desire, a kind of wish, okay, which is taken whether in sleeping dream or in daydream, and which can hardly be fulfilled by the dreamer. and it is generally taken in the awakened form, and person can hardly fulfill such kind of wish, such kind of dream, since he knows it very well that he is not taking a dream, but he is just okay he is just speculating the same thing. And he said it was a walking dream wish fulfillment. When the narrator told his friend psychiatrist about his visit to the third level at Grand Central Station, the latter told him that it was only a fake story of his mind. It was the part of his imagination. It was the part of his wild story. It, and he could never be able to fulfill such kind of desire in his life. He said, I was unhappy. His friend, okay, also told him that it seemed that he was not happy. He was not happy to his present day life, and he was totally unhappy. He had been totally displeased. That's why he had started talking about such a place whose existence could not be seen there at Grand Central Station. That made my wife kind of mad. When the narrator's wife, when Charlie's wife also came to know that her husband had really got such kind of desire, wish in his mind, which could hardly be fulfilled, and which was taking him to some other direction. So lost she also lost the she also lost her the balance of her mind, means got she also got herself badly shocked, and okay looked so much sad and upset hearing it all from her husband's friend, who was a psychiatrist. That made my wife kind of mad, but he explained that he meant the modern world is full of insecurity, fear, war, worry, and all the rest of it, and that I just want to escape. But later, Charlie's friend Sam also explained it in detail, that he meant to say that the modern world was really full of insecurity, fear, war, worry, and all such kinds of obstacles, problems, and it is the nature of the human beings that he wants to avoid such kinds of all difficulties in his life. That's why it was also expected that he also told the narrator that he just wanted to escape from such kinds of harsh realities of his life. He just wanted to escape himself from such kinds of harsh realities of his life, and he could not face them. That's why he had got help of such kind of place which does not have its existence at any place, especially at Grand Central Station. And he had just taken his refuge there. Well, who doesn't? When the narrator got it all from his friend, he got a bit depressed, and being so much shocked, he also asked his friend if he could tell him the name of any person who did not want to escape such harsh realities of his life, of a person's life, which met a person in his life. Who doesn't? Who doesn't means the narrator asked his friend who didn't want to escape from such kinds of problems in life. Everybody wanted to escape. Everybody I know wants to escape, but they don't wander down into any third level at Grand Central Station. The statement is made by the narrator. Everybody I know wants to escape. The narrator also The narrator also made it clear that in his opinion, everybody living in the world wanted to escape from such kinds of harsh realities of his life, but they don't wander down into any third place at Grand Central Station. But they never wanted to wander about here and there. But they could not take such kind of decision. But they could not take such kind of decision like him to go to such a place. Okay, as the third level at Grand Central Station, and they often kept themselves far away from such kind of place. They could hardly reach there. They could hardly go there, reach there. And he knew it very well that everybody wanted to escape from such kinds of harsh realities, okay, comprising the okay insecurity, fear, war, worry, and all kinds of obstacles which meet a person in his life. But that's the reason he said, and my friends all agreed. When Charlie's friend had attended it all, when Charlie's friend had attended it all, he finally told that that was the main reason. That was the main reason. Okay, that was the main reason. He had got himself. He had got himself. He had got himself fully entrapped in such kind of imagination which could not allow him to get rid of it. And he had really got himself fully enwrapped in such kind of problematic situation. Okay, and my friends all agreed, and his own friends also got agreed, saying that he had really got help of such a place named the third level to keep himself safe and fully avoided from the difficulties in his life, okay, from the problems, okay, which could meet him in his day-to-day life. Everything points to it, they claim. The word they stands for here, Charlie's friends, beta. Charlie's friends also claimed it that each and everything of his story really pointed to it all. That he had really got this the place, he had really considered that the place, the third level, as a part of his refuge. As a part of his refuge means he had really taken his refuge from, he has really taken his refuge at that place, the third level, in order to keep himself fully safe and avoid it. So they also took him, beta, all the friends of the narrator took him, okay, as an escapist. They had indirectly called him an escapist, and on behalf of the theory of escapism, he had really started talking about such kind of place whose existence could hardly be seen there at Grand Central Station. Okay, my stamp collecting, for example, that's a temporary refuge from reality. My stamp collecting. So now he changed the topic, he changed the subject, and while asking his friends, okay, while asking it from his friends whether they would like to call his habit of collecting the stamps as a part of his temporary refuge from reality, whether they would like to consider his hobby of collecting stamps as a temporary refuge from reality. Well, maybe. They also agreed it. They also got agreed, saying it that it could also be possible that the past time. Here I think you have not understood. My stamp collecting, for example, that's a temporary refuge from reality. While speaking these words, the narrator wanted to know whether they would like to call his pastime, his hobby of collecting stamps as a part of his refuge also. Whether they would call it that he had also cultivated such a habit of collecting stamps in order to keep himself fully avoided from the harsh realities of his life. Well, maybe. So they suspected it, saying this. Firstly, they suspected, and they told him that it could be possible. It could also be possible. But my grandfather didn't need any refuge from reality. So, in order to justify that the that his pastime, that his hobby of collecting stamps could not be a temporary refuge from any kind of reality, he put a, he put he put the statement related to his grandfather, and he told his friends that it was his grandfather, okay, who didn't need any kind of refuge from reality, who never wanted to refuge stands for a beta, a kind of safe place. He never wanted to go to such. He never wanted to get help of any safe place to avoid himself, to escape himself from reality. Things were pretty nice and peaceful. Okay, in his day, when he used to live in the world, so he, okay, when he used to live in the world, he enjoyed his life. He enjoyed his life accordingly, and he never faced any kind of problem in his life, since he had much prosperity, okay, and there was no shortage of anything. Things were pretty nice and peaceful, means his life ran quite smoothly and peacefully. He never found himself in any kind of difficulty. But his grandfather was also a stamp collector. So how far it would be right to call his grandfather an escapist? Would they like to call his grandfather an escapist also? In order to make them all quite speechless, he started giving the example of his grandfather. The narrator started giving the example of his grandfather, so that they could speak no word. From all I hear, okay, from all I hear means, for all I hear means, from all I hear. The narrator told his friend that whatsoever he had heard from reliable sources and from his grandfather also, it was told to him that his grandfather actually lived a very happy life, contented life, and he never wanted to escape from the harsh reality of his life. And he started my collection, and he also told his friend that it was his grandfather who had already, he had also okay, motivated him for the collection of stamps. And he started my collection means his grandfather had really motivated him, okay, to start collecting the stamps, and he had cultivated that the okay, quality of that the trait of being the stamp collector in his heart. It's a nice collection too. Okay, it's a nice collection too. Blocks of for practically every US issue, first day covers, and so on. But through this statement, the narrator wants to tell us that he has really collected so many stamps so far. He has really collected so many stamps so far. Blocks of 4 stands for beta, unseparated 4 stamps pasted together. Unseparated 4 stamps pasted together. Okay, or stood together in group. Blocks of 4 of practically every US issue. So whatsoever the stamp it had been in the United States of America, so whether it was a single one stamp and it was the collection of 4 stamps, he had already got all those stamps also in his collection, in his stamp collection, which okay, were 4 in number, quite unseparated, or we may say that the 4 stamps stood quite jointly, okay, at a particular place, at a particular paper. First day covers, he also told that in the collection of his stamps, he has also collected first day covers, so many first day covers, and so on, and such many more things have also been collected by him, okay, in his life so far till now. President Roosevelt collected stamps to, okay, the word U stands for here his friends. So while addressing his friends, the narrator also asked them whether they knew it or not, that the President of America, Roosevelt, also collected stamps in his time. Anyway, here is what happened at Grand Central. Anyway, the word anyway stands for moreover, okay, above it all. We may also use the word about it all. Okay, no matter. Kindly don't have any more discussion. Don't have any more discussion regarding it all. And now he wanted to tell them what had happened with him at Grand Central Station in New York. So now he starts telling us the story. He starts narrating the experiences of his life which he had got there at Grand Central, on the third level at Grand Central Station. So now the story takes a new twist here better from this passage. Anyway, here is what happened at Grand Central. One night last summer I worked late at the office. I was in a hurry to get uptown to my apartment, so I decided to take the subway from Grand Central because it's faster than the bus. Anyway, here is what happened at Grand Central. Here stands for a story. Okay, so now through this passage the narrator tells us that he wants to narrate one more story regarding his experiences which had been got by him, which he had got okay, on the third level at Grand Central Station, and he wants to give the full description of his own experiences there. One night last summer I worked late at the office. One night last summer, during the summer days, on some day, or we may say beta in another sense, on some day in the summer season. On some day in the summer season, the narrator, okay, had to stay back at his office till late night hours. Since he had not completed the task as assigned to him, and he had to work there till late night hours, sitting there quite okay at his office. I was in a hurry to get uptown. The word uptown stands for upper part of the city, of the town. Upper residential, or we may call here residential area, fully okay separated or disconnected from the commercial complexes. I was in a hurry to get uptown to my apartment. Since the narrator had really been so much late while working at his office, and he wanted to go to his locality, the word uptown stands for residential area. He wanted to go to his residential area first, okay, by getting help of some means of transportation, and then he wanted to go to his apartment. So I decided to take the subway from Grand Central. The word subway stands for underground station, okay, and from the underground station where one can catch metro trains, especially one can get the trains, okay, which run with the help of electric trains, especially electric trains. So I decided to take the subway from Grand Central because it's faster than the bus. So instead of choosing the bus, the narrator thought that he should choose the other way. And what was the other way? He should choose means he decided that he should make his journey by a metro train. Okay, since the metro train from underground railway station at Grand Central Station, okay, ran so faster than that of the bus. Not that of, I am sorry. than the bus. So I decided to take the subway from Grand Central because it's faster than the bus. Considering it that the metro trains run much faster than the buses, so he instead of traveling by some bus, should travel by the metro train uh, from the Grand Center station, and he decided that he should go to the Grand Center station. He should go to Grand Center station and catch the electric train from there, so that he could reach his locality very soon, and he could also meet his wife and other family members there. Now I don't know why this should have happened to me. Now I don't know why this should have happened to me means whatsoever happened to the author, whatsoever happened to the narrator went against his expectation. Went against his expectation. The narrator can hardly find it out on his part why it had all happened to him there at Grand Central Station. So he had met such an amazing incident there which was totally out of his belief. I am just an ordinary guy named ordinary guy. I am just an ordinary guy named Charlie, 31 years old. So firstly, while introducing himself to all the readers, to all of us, he gives us his name, he tells us his name, he tells us his name Charlie, and he also tells us his age here. So he tells us that I am just an ordinary guy named Charlie. See, he is just a 31-year-old young man named Charlie, and I was wearing a tan. The word tan stands for a bit of brown colored, light brown colored, gabardine. The word gabardine stands for a kind of loose coat or suit reaching up to the ankles, reaching up to the knees and ankles also. So, and I was wearing a tan gabardine. The word tan refers to here light brown color. So on that day when the narrator had been so late while working at his office, he was wearing a brown colored coat, brown colored suit, gabardine suit, a brown colored open suit reaching up to his knees, and a straw hat and a very lightweight straw hat with a fancy band over on the top of over it. He had also kept a fancy band. All around that the hat, a fancy band, very attractive, fascinating band was also placed there. One could see that the fancy hat also had a very fancy band, and a straw hat with a fancy band. The narrator was wearing a brown colored gabardine loose coat or suit just reaching up to his knees, and he was also wearing a very lightweight, soft felt hat with a fancy band, having or possessing a fancy band on the top of it also. On the top of it, I passed a dozen men who looked just like me, and I wasn't trying to escape from anything. I just wanted to get home to Louisa, my wife. I passed a dozen men who looked just like me. So while walking through that passage, he had selected from his office to Grand Central Station. So we may see beta here on the way to Grand Central Station. The narrator passed around 12 people there who just looked like him. Okay, and he wasn't trying to escape from anything, since he was not trying to escape from any kind of thing there on the way to Grand Central Station. I just wanted to get home to Louisa, my wife, since he had already decided that he wanted to go to his home and meet his wife Louisa, who would have been sorry, who would have been waiting, for him so expectantly, so eagerly for a long time, since he had already been late on that day while working at his office, and he had not reached his home so far till then. I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue. So while walking through that place, Vanderbilt Avenue, till Grand Central Station, he had met a dozen men. He had met 12 people, 12 persons there who looked just like him, and he did not want to escape from anything there, and he just kept walking, and finally he had reached there at Grand Central Station. And as soon as he reached Grand Central Station, he turned himself into the main campus of Grand Central Station, and went down the steps to the first level. Firstly, he went down the steps. He went downstairs. He went downstairs to the first level, where you take trains like the 20th century. According to the narrator, a person can catch the trains. Catch the trains looking like the 20th century from the first level at Grand Central Station. Then I walked down another flight to the second level. Flight stands for staircases. Right from there he also kept walking downstairs through getting help of some other staircases, and he reached the second level, where the suburban trains leave from. The word suburban stands for the localities or the places which are situated at the outskirt or the outer part of the town of the city. So the trains which were bound for the places located at the outer part of the town, ran from that the second level at Grand Central Station, dug into an arched doorway. The word arched stands for carved shape, arched shape. Dug into means better, entered into, moved into. After entered, we don't use the preposition into, but here the word dug into stands for stepped into. So as soon as where the suburban train go, dug into an arched doorway heading for the subway, and got lost. So he did not stay there. On the third level, and from there he also got help of getting help of an arched shaped doorway that led to the subway. The word subway stands for underground platform, underground rail station. So getting help of that arched carved shaped doorway, he directly started walking through it, and finally got there on the third level, and got lost there. He claims here that he forgot his way, and he found himself totally lost there. He got no other way to escape from there. That is easy to do. That's easy to do. He says that it is so easy. It's so easy for a person to reach there. That's easy to do. It's really so much easy to go there, to reach there. I have been in and out of Grand Central hundreds of times. Now you can confirm it, as I had already explained. Through this statement, the narrator Charlie tells us that he has already been in and out of Grand Central hundreds of times. He has already stepped into and come out of Grand Central Station hundreds of times, but I am always bumping into new doorways. But whenever he visited the Grand Central Station, he found himself meeting. Bumping into means encountering, meeting. He found himself encountering against or encountering with new doorways. Whenever he went there at Grand Central Station, especially on the third level, he found himself meeting with new kinds of doorways, staircases and corridors. Each and everything looked him totally new and abnormal. Once I got into a tunnel. On some day during his visit to the third level at Grand Central Station, he had stepped into a long tunnel, enclosed corridor, just like a tunnel. Okay, about a mile long, and came out in the lobby of Roosevelt Hotel. I got into a tunnel about a mile long and came out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. So when he had got into a tunnel which was around a mile long from there, around 1.5 kilometer away, not 1.5, 1.5 kilometer away, 1.5 kilometer long, 1.5 kilometer long, and he had stepped into the long tunnel and came out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. So while passing through that the abnormal kind of tunnel and corridor, he finally got his position outside the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel there in New York, and he got highly surprised. Oh, he had entered Grand Central Station, but he had come out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. Another time I came up in an office. He also tells us there that it was one more chance for him. On some other day, he again found himself coming out of an office building on 46th Street, which was situated on 46th Street. It is the name of a particular street or road. In foreign countries, our street stands for roads also better. So on that 46th road, the one office building was also situated there, and outside that the building he had already stepped out. He had already come out from that the longest tunnel. 3 blocks away. So that the 46th Street was 3 blocks away from Grand Central Station. The word block stands for here kind of pack of buildings. Suppose 4 to 5 buildings stand at a particular place. So then again, having a gap of around 500 meters and not 500 but 150 meters or 100 meters, again we find here a group of or pack of 5 to 10 buildings there in cluster. So such kinds of buildings are known, defined as the blocks of buildings. Another time I came up in an office building on 46th Street. Again, at some other occasion, when he had already entered the main campus of Grand Central Station and gone there on the third level, so getting help of that the tunnel which looked so long in its length, covering the distance of around 1.5 kilometer from there, Grand Central Station. He came out in an office building on 46th Street, 3 blocks away from there. Sometimes I think Grand Central is growing like a tree. Sometimes the narrator thinks that the Grand Central Station is spreading just like a tree, pushing out new corridors and staircases like roads. As a tree spreads its roots in different directions, similarly the station Grand Central Station is also spreading its new corridors and staircases into different directions. Such kind of idea, such kind of thought was taken by the narrator into his mind. Okay, there is probably a long tunnel that nobody knows about, feeling its way under the city right now. He also tells us that the narrator also tells us that there is probably a long tunnel. There is probably a long tunnel, okay, underground long tunnel, okay, about which nobody knows. Nobody knows about the presence, about the existence of this tunnel, and also nobody knows about the nature of its way, okay, about the nature of its way under the city right now, which runs under the city from one direction to another, okay, on its way to Times Square. On its way, means on the way to this tunnel, on the on the way to this tunnel, one can see the places including Times Square and maybe another to Central Park. Sometimes a person comes out of the central, sometimes the person, okay, uh, sometimes this the tunnel leads a person to Times Square. At some other occasion it leads the person to one more place. It's the name of the Central Park. And maybe because for so many people through the years, Grand Central has been an exit, a way of escape. Because for so many people through the years, and here the narrator considers it that this is the tunnel through which he has already passed and come out of these all 2 or 3 places, has always been used by a number of people there in New York in order to keep themselves fully avoided from the crowded market, the crowded places, and from all other kinds of such problems in their lives. So getting help of this the long tunnel which spreads okay under the which spreads in okay under the ground, under the city, from one place to another. So many people have really got benefit of this long tunnel through the years, and this the place Grand Central Station has always been worked as an exit for these all places, as a way of escape for these all places, for these all people, in other sense, but I would like to give the explanation. Here, through this statement, the narrator wants to make it clear that it could be possible that all the escapists have got full benefit, full advantage of Grand Central Station, and getting help of this the tunnel at Grand Central Station, which runs underground from one place to another. They have really avoided themselves from all kinds of problems, okay, which they could meet in the crowded markets, on the crowded roads also. And maybe this the place, this the central Grand Central Station has always worked as an exit, as an escape, as a way of escape, means of escape for these all people. Maybe that's how the tunnel I got into. And it could also be possible that he had also entered the same tunnel, same corridor, okay, and he had also come out of those 2 places. Okay, what were the names of the 2 places, beta? The first was the Roosevelt Hotel, lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel, and the second was an office building on 46th Street. Okay, but I never told my psychiatrist friend about that idea. But the narrator never shared that the experience of his life with his friend psychiatrist, and he kept that the idea with him quite secretly. He never told him that he had already got into such kind of long tunnel which guided him, or which led him to the lobby of Roosevelt Hotel and to an office building on 46th Street, 46th Street, 3 blocks away from Grand Central Station. He never told it to his friend also. Okay. So beta, now I would like to give you the explanation regarding the rest of the part of this chapter in the next lecture, because it would be much more problematic for you if I keep it extending, if I keep it teaching. since the length of the video will be, I think, so long, that's why I should stop here at this. We should stop here at this word idea, and the remaining part of this chapter will be completed by us in the next one more lecture. Okay beta, thank you.